Hello and welcome in. This is the nervous system show today, day 4 of our 5-day Unprocessing Your Life and Unprocessing Me challenge inside of our Unprocessing Me community. Hello, unprocessors. Hi, Pam. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I'm great.
Yeah. So tell me, what did you find from yesterday was really your takeaway? I know we talked briefly just a moment ago, and I'd love for us to talk about that again.
Okay. Well, I really was thinking about when you talked about I can, I will, I choose, I love, I trust. Those are just declarations that we make, and they really bring peace. And, this morning, well, last night, I had quite a day yesterday. Still, at the end of the day, it was fine, but I still needed to stabilize. And a couple times I just thought, I did say some of those acclamations to myself, well, out loud, actually. And this morning I said them again. And I told Tracy, we were talking earlier, when she talked about those affirmations yesterday, the I choose just hit me viscerally. I mean, it was like that of all of those, they're all great, but that's the one that I feel is the strongest affirmation. I choose. And I really took that away from yesterday
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. I like it because you're talking about the other four F's. We've been talking about my 4F framework, and we talk about food a lot here, because that's the entryway. It's the gateway into feeling.
Mhm.
It's a necessary part of what we're doing in unprocessing our life and lowering inflammation. Yet you just touched on how you felt when you said it, and
Mhm.
that's the key of
Yeah.
slowing down enough to feel the impression upon that declaration and of how much that meant to you.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I love those words. I got misty just saying them yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I use them
I saw
today.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I can see they really meant a lot to you too, because your
yeah,
body reacts.
yeah,
Your
yes.
whole
When we
system.
focus on what is, and sometimes we can focus on what is negative, being in the I can't do sugar free. What are they talking about? Why did I even come on this? And maybe even stopping the recording. I get it. Until you can inform your brain, the words behind it really can signal danger because we're not very safe in our body often. Our nervous system hasn't signaled to us yet that it's okay to have a day without sugar. And those words are really powerful. I
Yeah.
can, I will, I trust, I choose, I love, I breathe. And then just breathe. And
Yep.
anchor to that. It really is the anchor that, and that bridge, the breath there is the bridge to telling our system we're safe.
Hmm.
It's safe to breathe. It's safe to take action today. I won't die today if I don't have any sugar. And a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
times I say that silly, but it is. It's our nervous system is like, no, I'm going to die if I don't have sugar. Literally, we could say that. And I've heard people say, no, I can't. I just can't. But you can. I know you can, and I know others have too. And that's what we forget sometimes what we've been taught, and we get to remember what it is that we're here for. And we're here for so much. I mean, and I'm very principled on the word of God too. I love that we were sharing how in the word does say, ask, seek, knock. And if we're asking for clarity or for help, it's the purest prayer. Help me get through this day. Help me focus on something else. Because what we focus on grows. That's the seeds of this season that we talked about at Monday that we're planting. January can be the resolutions, but how many resolutions have you kept? And this is one that is a lifestyle change. It does change who you are, especially just to feel the certainty that I can go one day and I can do this for 5 days. And I've had so many people. Yes, you may not be seeing and hear, but I've had people reaching out to me both online and in the clinic saying, "Yeah, I could do that. I'm interested in doing that. At least trying it out." And how some of their partners. I had someone yesterday whose partner is pre-diabetic, and she's like, yeah, he cooks dinner and he does all these healthy things, and I think it's time for me to kind of join him and understand more of what's going on. I could use it too. And that's it.
Mhm.
Sometimes we can cook the same way. If you have a spouse who may or may not want to do this with you, you get to add other healthy things for them if they choose. If you're missing rice, cook some cauliflower rice for yourself, make some rice for them. And you'll get to where you really, in your head, if you're noticing what you focus on, you might find the attachment to missing rice. Yet, when you feed and fuel and nourish yourself with healthy foods, you really can sit and say, am I really hungry here? And say,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can. I will do this. I trust I can do this for one day. I
Yeah.
choose I can do it for one day. This is the empowerment that we get to self responsibility to taking care of ourselves. And that's when we move into a whole different way of being. And this is an amazing year for this. This is the year where we can change and we can say yes. Are you with me? Who's with me?
I am.
Yay, yeah. Because yeah, this is my playground. I did for years. I removed the sugar, I cleaned up the fats, and I built the healthy plate. I did what I've asked you to do myself, or I wouldn't be here. And I'm not here to judge. I am here to guide you. You can. That's what I'm here for, to show you on the other side what can happen is that
Mhm.
you can go in and out of it. Literally within 3 days now, I was noticing last night, I don't step on the scale. This is what we've talked about. This is more than just weighing yourself. And if you choose to do that, great. If you choose to do it with some metrics and you'd like to know about a good scale, let me know. Come into the clinic. If you're local, I have a BCA I'll offer you for being in this group for free. And it'll tell you 15 different metric points about you. And it's amazing.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I
It's
can
great.
feel it. I can just feel it putting on my clothes. I'm like, oh, good. My belly's gone down already.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Yeah.
feel bloated anymore. I feel good. Kind of feel a little sexy, you know?
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So that's what can happen. Have
Yeah.
you noticed anything yet, Pam? Because you've had some great experiences in the past.
Well, I do know one thing for a fact. You can lose weight and still be eating sugar, but you're not doing your body any healthy,
Mm.
you know, I mean, it's not, we don't want to, but I mean, if you're in this for losing weight, well, you can still lose weight, but you can lose weight a lot of times eating a lot of not so good for you healthy foods. And so again, I've always kept my in the forefront that if I lose weight, that's that's a cherry on top. That's great. But the best thing is when I'm the awareness I have of my body and the awareness of what I'm putting in my mouth, and I'm constantly learning. I mean, I'm constantly learning more and more. And it's okay if you have an oops. You know, if you have an oops, you learn something and you move on, and that's it. And like I posted last Friday, I'll post something else tomorrow. But I've now lost 20 pounds and I'm really pleased. But and I'm loving it. I mean, I love it. I love it. I haven't weighed this much in about 4 years, and it's awesome. This little, and I'm real happy about that. But I'm more happy about the deeper understanding I've gained through the unprocessing challenges, and in knowing what I'm eating and why I am eating that, why it makes a difference. So.
I've heard you share and about your vice, and I've shared about my vices, and they're just the awareness, like you said. I know with where I can go. I'm not the one so much to eat cookies, although there's a type I will like. Yeah, there's just it's okay, and I could say yes to it. And actually, that's a healthy attitude. This is about a
Mhm.
lifestyle. And we can go on vacations. And so instead of calling it a cheat meal, which I was trained to in the weight loss, oh, they can do a cheat meal. I'm like, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm in consciousness about what we talk about. And I said, let's do a vacation. It's a treat meal. It is a treat to have it.
it
And
is.
that way we're consciously going, this is delicious. And we're in the moment then too. And then the next day you can go back to what you choose.
Right.
And
Right.
and it's the balance. I almost took a picture. I like to take pictures when I go on the dog walks. And there's a dog park that has a seesaw. Smoochie would not get on it with me. I was on it trying to balance to get a picture. Obviously, I didn't post it because it didn't work out. But it is about balance. But even that sounds so hard.
Uh-huh.
Balance is like that, as I was noticing, is hard to do. So I really like it about becoming aware of where you can gain and where you can it's about freedom to find where you're at today
Mhm. Mhm.
and to give yourself grace. And that really is part of the breath work, the coherence, and that's coming into a record of or a method of understanding. I can breathe right now. I can change my thoughts because that's something I'd like to talk about today. Our focus. Our thoughts are often running the show and we go on repeat over and over. That's neuroscience. It takes
Yeah.
that same thought and we'll wake up and I noticed it myself through when I was going through. I was waking up or going to bed and waking up in the middle of the night, like so many of the women I hear, and I do coach women more. Men are in here too, I know, but I coach women more. And I know that there's men waking up at night too, and they're thinking the same thoughts over and over again. And that's the
Mhm.
neuroscience. We get to notice not all thoughts are true. And we can go, oh, that's nice, and go to the next thought and not attach to that thought. I also learned thoughts create things. Actually, there is a person, her name is Candace Kern or Patricia Kern. And she was one of the founders who recognized that there's over 2,500 at the time she did this, which was back in the 90s, actually. Um, Okay, don't quote me on all that because I didn't write it down, but there is a woman who found that we create protein peptides with our thoughts, and she found 2,500 different proteins that we created with our thoughts. So you don't have to eat this to create change. It's literally also our mind. And
Mhm.
what you can understand is you can eat perfect and still feel awful. I did. And inflammation is more than what you eat. That's why I've also added, you might see where I say it's talking about inflammation and irritation because it comes from how you focus and think as well as feel. It's so true because the hierarchy goes whatever you think, you feel, it becomes belief, it's part of your behaviors, and then your actions, and then it's your identity. And if you don't like where you are, change your thoughts. That's the fastest way. And what we can do is we carry tension in our body, though. And so
Mhm.
many times our thoughts will be on fear versus faith. And that's why I like the words that we talked about, the decrees. That's why I have a Bible holding up my laptop right now. I love the word. It says in the word that he created. It's so many people talk about how we create with our voice. And it is powerful to release the stuckness in our nervous system. And how you eat is inflamed. No matter how you eat, it affects us. So, fight or flight can look like this. And fight or flight is part of our nervous system. It's our sympathetic nervous system. And it could look like you're up at 3 a.m., like I just talked about. Your shoulders might be tight as a drum. Mine are loose. I noticed for years mine were tight as a drum. If yours are, and even in our clinic, I'll see some people and their shoulders are still up to their ears. And your jaw might be clenched. That's a very common one too. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. It's shallow breathing. You're barely breathing and taking in a full breath randomly throughout the day. And you might be feeling wired and tired because our thoughts, what's wired together fires together. And so if you're into that sympathetic dominance, you're always looking for the fear. Your body is going to always protect you. It may not be your highest choice, though. That's why we get to stop the record, and we get to start breathing. It's my way. This is my way. I found this is the bridge to getting back into your body and changing your nervous system and bringing it up. And when I say that, I'm referencing something called polyvagal theory. It talks about the different states of our body. Because I noticed after chronic illness and having major surgeries and having three small kids and a husband who is working full time, this little girl and born in trauma, my parents were teenagers and there's a lot there too. This little girl was definitely a fear. She was in fear, and it's a lot about starting to recognize those signs and giving yourself beautiful grace. That's often why we go into the pantry and you just might find yourself staring at the pantry and you don't know why. Hello, baby.
Yeah. Yes, we
It's
have a
like,
new
yeah,
intern.
what's going on?
She
I
she likes your voice, I think.
have you ever found yourself, Pam, staring at the refrigerator and going, I don't even really know why I'm here. I'm not hungry, or the
Oh,
pantry.
yes, or the pantry.
Yeah, yeah,
What am I doing here?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are in that habit too. And habits are how what I mean about the thoughts that are wired together, fired together. We'll
Hmm.
go into that. My darn office right here, it backs up to the kitchen. And for years, I was with a beautiful friend of mine and doing some great work. And I would have lots of thoughts, yet I was having problems integrating and finishing them. And I was having problem because it was in my nervous system. We get wired with the cortisol. It fires up. We're used to the all of the hits of adrenaline, and then as soon as and that's when something is new and exciting. And
Hmm.
when I met her, she and I were both really excited about things. And then all of a sudden the excitement kind of wears off and you get to something and then you fall. Have you ever noticed that? It's
Yeah.
that up and down
Yes.
we've talked
Yeah.
about too in different ways because our body will reveal that. And I wouldn't get a lot of work done. I wouldn't finish anything. We started to get frustrated. And, really that tension, it's emotional upset. It's our feelings, which are
Hmm.
we're ignoring, we're stuffing.
Hmm.
Stuffing your feelings is a purpose. I mean, people do. You eat. It's easier to eat and stuff those down instead of really voicing and articulating and speaking out, naming what a feeling is. We can feel shame about it usually, but that
Hmm.
cortisol is running. And until we actually name and then tame that feeling, which is part of what I've learned and teach, you're going to be the problem still. You're going to notice the problem. Your body thinks it's being chased by a tiger. And so it's going to keep releasing that cortisol. And that's adrenaline. And that, have you ever run a race and then gone and just depleted? You're like exhausted.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes you might be so exhausted, but you can't sleep. That's kind of what's going on in effect in the middle of the night. You're so tired, yet your blood sugar is affected by this. Your thoughts are creating all this chemistry, which is out of alignment for you to get into up leveling into the parasympathetic, into the dorsal vagal, where it's beautiful land where we're supposed to be. Otherwise, we drop down into that sympathetic again instead of the parasympathetic, where we don't live in the parasympathetic thinking, oh, life is peaceful all the time. We
Yeah.
expect there's going to be challenges. Yet it's the trusting through your whole life. You've made it through every challenge you've ever been through.
Hmm.
And you're understanding that when you store and stuff your feelings, you're storing fat because your body doesn't think it's safe to release that. So many times people just talk about how they've worked with me and they just start releasing fat that they've tried so hard. I'm forcing it, I'm trying all the diets, but I just can't lose the weight. This might be your problem
Hmm.
because it keeps you in that loop. And that hypervigilance is why you can't sleep and why you're so anxious and why you can't even take a breath sometimes. I've seen it.
Hmm.
Sometimes you get so worked up, you can't even slow down to go. You're it's almost scary. I've seen it and it's very interesting. I've been in it and I've witnessed it as a coach. But it's your nervous system. You're not broken. It's just we get to rewire and change your focus and
Hmm.
then feel it. And trust me, on the other side is freedom. And it's really beautiful. And
And it's a real thing. It's a real thing because you're regulating a natural body system, which you can find ways to do that with all the things you're talking about. And that's it's if people have panic attacks, for example, and I sometimes once in a while I have if I yesterday when I was trying to get my email unmessed up, I worked on it for 3 hours and it just was so hard and so hard and I couldn't get it done. And finally I thought, you stop, because I was breathing so fast and I was so upset. My heart was beating so fast. And I thought, I took my blood pressure because I want to make sure I'm still in safe range. I was fine. I was having a panic attack. And I do that sometimes when I'm working on my income tax by myself. And it's not the tax that it's hard. It's just like you go somewhere and then you lose where you have to go and you go back on the system and you just get finally, but I've learned to back away, to breathe
Yeah.
and leave it be. Put it aside. Don't talk about it. It'll be there tomorrow and you can fix it. And that's the way to get through it. But again, what you're doing is you're regulating your nervous system. It's not, you know, it's something we can physically do and it throws our bodies way, way off kilter. And it
Yeah.
can happen no matter how good you're eating.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, it has to do with your emotions and the fear and the flight. Fear, flight, what is it? Fear, flight or
Fight or flight,
fight or flight, yeah.
and
Or
then there's also
freeze. Or
freeze, which
freeze,
is,
yeah.
yeah,
Ooh.
freeze is something that's very real. My husband, I have a funny story about that. And I found out I did have this going on as well, many times. This one time though, my husband and I, when we were younger, and we lived in a one butt kitchen, and at the end of that one butt kitchen was a closet, and in there was a stand up washer and dryer, and on the other side it was very small. It was a trash can, and I was in there, I thought by myself during lunchtime. I was making lunch and I was more than likely in there for a good 5 minutes making lunch. And yeah, I'm just going. I finally opened that door to throw something away. Mick had been standing in there the whole freaking time. And he's like, whoa. And I was like, ah! And I'm shaking, and my head is like, that's your husband. You're okay. And my body was not getting that signal. I
Uh-huh.
actually felt it. I shook it. He's laughing. I'm going, you're a jerk. And I could laugh about it now, but my body, I've been that before also, getting pulled over for missing a stop sign. And I'm like shaky, thinking I'm safe. It's just the police. My head knows. But
Uh-huh.
that's the thing. Your body takes on a whole different way of being, and
Yeah.
it thinks you're in danger.
Uh-huh.
And for whatever reason, we don't even have to go to the reason. We get to learn how to create safety in us. And that's why I absolutely love the bridge to breath work of consciously and intentionally taking time out to slow your breath and even your words way down.
Yeah.
And that is when everything changes, because what matters is right now. The past doesn't matter, those people, and you are not there. Nothing is there anymore. And what is about the future is worry and anxiety, both worry about the past or worried about the future. It's be present now. And that's
Mhm.
why your breath is beautiful. And because when you slow down, now there you are. I
Mhm.
often say, in my opening with different groups and stuff, is to let's presence ourselves. Let's be here now and breathe. And it's
Right.
a beautiful
Right.
way when you get on a Zoom sometimes or a meeting and you're rushing and you're late, you're not really there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so if I'd like to take just a few moments to do a couple box breathing technique is a
Yes.
beautiful one. Even Navy SEALs have been trained in box breathing as they get anxious. They're in very stressful situations. So I say that to just remind you it happens to everybody, even little kitty. Yes, she has many cats. This one's
Yeah.
different.
Yes. This is a different one. Yes. And
Um,
they all have to be right in front of the screen. So if I hold her for a while, she'll leave me alone.
maybe she wants to breathe with us.
Yes.
She's like, no, I'm okay.
Look at that tail. No, thank you.
But really, this is a very fun one. It's an easy one. You can share this with kids because even they hold tension and they get to learn these things. And one of the things is we're reminding our body we're safe, and all the kids can count to four. So we're going to try this box breath right now. It's a 4 to 4 to 4 to 4. Breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4 on the downhill. Yeah, exhale. So one thing is, don't do this if you're pregnant. Not too healthy to hold your breath on the inhale. And if you have extreme hypertension, if your blood pressure is really out of control, holding it on the top isn't healthy either. So just pause. You can pause. And 4 count isn't big. You can do this safely. I just like to put that out there for a warning. Holding on the exhale, though, is really healthy. It's a very different situation. And we're going to do all of that, though. So go ahead and presence yourself wherever you are. Be there now. Put your feet flat on the floor. Put your hands away from your body if you can. Rest them on the chair or on the countertop, desktop. Uncross your legs. Maybe soften your eyes or close them. We're going to take 3 just regular breaths to be present. So breathe in through your nose and out your mouth. Just notice your own breath. One more breath in and out. Last one, breathe in and out. Now I'm going to count. Now breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Release, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. 2 more times. Back in. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, and hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Back in. 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And just notice, how do you feel? Can you notice the softening in your body? An ease to your breath. And when you open your eyes slowly and come back into the room, can you notice things are a little brighter? Sometimes after a nice breath session, you can open your eyes and things look so clear. And one of the things I do when I'm teaching, I love it because I get bright, shiny faces coming back up. They're just shining. This is really, if you want to look the youngest on the block, let go of sugar and start regulating your breath. It is so great for longevity. It really
This is powerful. This is really powerful.
Thank you.
You really feel a difference. I can feel my shoulders just totally relaxed down. And
Yeah.
I carry tension in here, always have, but that takes it right out. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of gotten loose.
Good.
Great.
Good.
That's great. I love this. I use it often.
And this is another time, if you've been feeling something or avoiding feeling, after you breathe, notice, can you name the feeling? Often we're in our head, but now we're connecting more from our mind into our body. And here's where it really gets really cool is when you can name the feeling that you've been avoiding, you actually give it less power. You get power back by naming it. And I have a methodology that's naming, taming, and then reframing it. And that's what taming it is about. I may find that I have been feeling guilty about something, and on the other side, we get to, create something beautiful with it. There's reasons we go through feelings, and there's a hierarchy to feelings. Um, a lot of times the grief that we feel could be joy returning. You're remembering something beautiful around grief. I have a friend who sadly lost his son not too long ago. And then we go through stages in grief, but once you can start to remember and have a beautiful moment of a smile, of a beautiful memory, and I know I'm not alone in that, and I know there's times when we've all experienced, if you can notice, you've experienced grief anywhere. Once you start to come out of that, is to remember the joy, the happy times. And then on the other side of apathy, I call this, and I will cuss, so your give a shit's broken when you're in apathy. And on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other side of that is really finding what you're passionate about. Because so much of the passion of Christ is was talked about. The Greek word of passion is suffering. When we're really passionate about it, we can also go into the other side as people don't care, I don't care, but really what it is passion returning. And that's part of what I also teach, so that we get to name it and tame it and understand it and really start to feel ease about it. And that's when we can reframe it, what it's for, versus what it's not. And if you've been following me, I talk often about avoiding words with the word contractions in it, because it contracts us. It literally is a knot. And God is what is. And when we speak more of what it is, then it gives us so much power back versus codependency and getting out of that and people pleasing and blah, blah, blah. It's less power. And it's actually co-empowering ourselves through God's word or through their decrees, whatever works for you. It works. It does. And this can be the foundation to helping you say, okay, I had some grief, and maybe that's why I'm going to food. It's very natural. Again, food is my first F in this framework for a reason. It's very comfortable. It's an acceptable addiction even. I remember I talked about after church we'd go water skiing. I talked about that Whataburger. It was an acceptable thing. Yet we didn't go to fast food, but we make it acceptable because that's what our church people were doing. I've also seen church people eat the worst food. It's like, really?
yeah. No guarantee that they're going to eat right.
Let's have some fellowship and fried food. No, like
Go to a potluck at church. There you go.
we can upgrade it all. And really, that's, let's go back to the 5 loaves of fish and, 5 loaves of real bread and fish, and that could be fuel.
Yeah.
Anyway, I might digress a little bit, but what happens is I can go on and on because I love this part. I really, really do. Because it liberated me. And that's where the freedom comes in. If you're sad and you push it down, your body remembers. Um,
Oh, yeah. Your
yeah,
body remembers lots of things.
yes. Your body keeps score. That's been talked about. Our body does remember. And when you're overwhelmed and you ignore it, your body stores it as tension. Remember those shoulders?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, tension also triggers emotional outbursts, upset, and everyone around you can feel it. Have you ever been in a room and you're having fun and or they're having fun and you walk in a bad mood and everybody stops and you think they're talking about you and they actually probably weren't. They just feel your tension, or
Oh,
vice versa.
yeah.
You could have been
Oh, yeah.
talking and somebody walks in and they're grumpy. You're like, you can feel it. It vibrates off of you.
Yeah.
I've lived that too.
Yeah. That's very true. My sister and I were having this conversation about if you go out and everybody you meet, you seem to be aggravated with, or you think I'm not getting good service today, or you're just because you
Yeah.
are that's coming off of you. And I usually think when that happens, I always think, well, this is a bad day. Everybody's a grouch. No, let's go home. You go home and get yourself settled down and work, because it's the common thread in all of these people is you. But if you go out with a positive mindset and and you feel a smile on your face, and suddenly you have favor with everyone you meet because that reflects back too. And that's
Yes,
very,
people feel
very
that just as much. You're right.
right.
Even more. It's infectious in a good way. People go,
Yeah.
"What's up with
Oh, yeah.
her? What's going
Yeah.
on? Want more of that?" Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is science too. I do talk about God, which could be woo to some people. Some people might think all of what I talk about is woo, but this is actually science too. Neuroscience in our brain. There's
Yeah.
actually something in our brain called the reticular activating system, RAS, and it's like the filter that does help you pay attention to what you're looking for. And again, if you're in your nervous system thinking of fear all the time, it's going to remind you, oh, there's fear, oh, there's fear, and you're going to die. There's fear, there's fear. And a good example of this is this is also how you start to, and people talk about manifesting, but this is how you manifest. You talk about what you desire. You imagine it. Imagine. Imagine it is like a 3D printer. You're
Hmm.
printing what you're feeling and thinking of. Your reticular activating system will find it for you. And in
Hmm.
addition, so there's a story again. I have stories for a lot of things. This has been going on. I've done things like if you've ever heard to make a list about the new house that you want, make a list because that focuses on what you're looking for. And I've done that too. And I've gotten the house that had everything on the list. Even more current though, and I shared this more recently, is this is a fun one. I wanted to buy a new car. I knew that I needed a new car and actually said, I'd like a convertible this time. And my husband in the past has been a big no. No, we're not getting a convertible. Of course, we had kids. Now we don't. Give me a reason why I can't get my convertible now. And so I started shopping them. And I felt the joy coming back of going, this can be a really fun experiment. What car am I going to get? And I imagined my favorite car was my first car. It was a VW Bug. And so I was like, oh, that's affordable. What about a convertible VW? I've always wanted that. My family grew up and we had all VWs, and my dad had bought a VW convertible once. It wasn't a Beetle; it was actually a Carmen Ghia. It was so cute. So anyway, I was like, okay. I started to see them first of all everywhere. The convertibles everywhere.
That happens.
Ever do
That
that?
happens.
Yeah, you
You're
want a car with
manifesting. Yeah. There
yes,
you
you're
are.
seeing it everywhere. Then the next step, I was like, okay, I made a yes to go drive one. So you're in the imagining of it, you're printing it, you're in it. And I drove the VW. My daughter went with me, Jenny. She's like, oh my gosh, you look great in that. Oh, you're smiling. Let me take a picture. So I was in it. And and then I went to make a yes for one, and something happened and it wasn't the right deal. So it didn't go through. What happened right after that is the car that I have now. There was an upgrade. So, do you ever know God says yes or something better is coming? And
Yeah.
so he said, well, maybe you might want this little convertible Mercedes instead. You are in your 50s, etc. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I like that. It was the color that I was looking for. It was exactly the same price. And XYZ happened. I got my convertible. And I love it. It's such an upgrade. It is, I put that top down and it is my outlet. I will sing, I will scream, I can do anything in that. It's a joy upgrade. It is so cool. And so I manifested that beautiful car. I love her. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a little fun share and
Yeah.
how big it is, what our focus is on. And when we get to feeling good is the secret too. It's feeling good about that. I felt great in that car. I created that car. And then I got to gift her another car, which she needed. It was such a win-win-win. It was so many wins. So I do ramble on, and I know your takeaway here is you can rewire these pathways. They're neural pathways. Our brain likes this one track, and we're like, no, we're changing the track. That's part of the decrees yesterday. That's part of when you keep thinking the same anxious thoughts, it builds that pathway in your brain. And we can do another pathway. That's how we create a new experience and take a new action and breathe and change our nervous system and calmly co-create the world we desire. And then watch the weight if you have an issue with it. Watch your weight because these can weigh you down. Our emotions can weigh you down. And when we release those, watch your weight just balance back into what you choose to be. Reframe your thoughts on what is aligned, and focus is where your attention goes, your focus grows. That's where we're planting the seeds this season. This is a time for us to plant what we desire. And then we're going to be in the planting and the watering of it and having some patience. As the manifestation of my car didn't come like that, or the house. It does come with patience. We're planting the seeds. You know,
Mhm.
if you did an oops this week, guess what? There's always another day tomorrow.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. And this is all the bridge to be having the freedom that you're seeking. And that's what we're here to share. So, our takeaway for you or your homework is to practice one of the nervous system regulation tools today. Maybe it's breathing in the box breath. Remember, 4 in, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4.
All right.
Do that for 4 minutes.
That's wonderful.
It could also be that you notice an emotion that you're feeling right now and you just name it out loud or write it down and name that thought and what you would choose. I choose something different.
Mhm.
And then you're reframing those thoughts into something that is more aligned that way. So you can also do something we haven't talked about, where we are running out of time. Put on your playlist. I absolutely love songs and music. My daughter almost went into music major because music is in our soul. And put on some music and really just shake it out. Like nobody's watching. And I have a sign for my kitchen, dance in the kitchen because nobody's watching but me because
Mhm.
I'm the only one that cooks. But I love this. Just dance and shake. It gets rid of a lot of tension. Shake your legs, shake your hips, and move your body. And that's another way to release tension and regulate yourself.
Music is so much a part of our being, and they say that I've heard it said that when people have dementia,
Hmm.
music is the last thing that goes. They can somehow come back to life. And you watch sometimes when people are working in memory centers with people with dementia or Alzheimer's, they can come alive when they hear music. They
Oh
can just
yeah.
come alive, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful. I think I would be like that. I'm
It's a
very
memory. A lot of
yeah. Oh
times
yeah,
too, we can put on one and go right back to like high school.
yeah.
Same with smells. Like you can walk in and
Oh
smell
yeah,
something. Our
yeah,
senses, these are we have a sensory nervous system as part of it too. And these are the ways that we do come back into our body. Great job.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. So thank you so much. This is the end of day 4. Can you believe it? Tomorrow's day 5. If you're still with us, I will be on tomorrow back at noon and we'll be
Mhm.
posting this replay in the community feed here shortly. And thank you so much for being here today. Love you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.